Good evening, boys and girls. We are going to be working on Chapter 4 review. It's the extra practice, and we are going to start on page 93. Go ahead and find your Go Math book and flip to page 93. All right, let's go ahead and move to lesson 4.2. This time we're going to use counters or quick pictures to find the quotient and remainder. So boys and girls, this is our circle method or our cookies and chips method. So let's look at number 1 all together. 44 divided by 5. Let's say I have 44 of something, let's say Skittles, and I want to divide them up into 5 groups. I'm trying to see how many are in those 5 groups. Go ahead and draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 circles. Now we need to place counters in each one. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. I know, because I'm at 40, if I go 41, 42, 43, 44, I will not have enough to put them in each bucket, okay? So I know that these 4 are my remainder, and now I need to count what's inside of each circle because that is part of my quotient. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. My answer would be 8, remainder 4. And I can check this because 8 times 5 is 40, plus 4 is 44, and that matches my answer right there. All right, boys, now I want you to try number 3, 75 divided by 4 on your own, and then resume the video when you are finished. All right, boys and girls, let's look at lesson 4.3. We're going to interpret the remainder. So before we start, I want you to quickly think about what we might see with a problem like this. We may need to go up. We might need to add 1 to the quotient. So instead of having 5 remainder 1, we might need 6 of something. Another thing that we're looking for is sometimes they only want the quotient. So in 5 remainder 1, they might only want 5. Okay, and the last thing that we might see is 5 remainder 1, and they might only want to know how many were left over. So the answer would only be 1. There's a variety of different things that we can see with a question like this. So it's very important that we really pay attention to what they are asking us. Okay, boys and girls, let's look at number 1. Kelly divides 29 markers equally among 7 friends. If Kelly keeps the leftover markers, how many markers will she keep? All right, our key word is divides. She divides 29 markers equally among 7 friends. Equally is also a key word. I'm going to choose to do long division, and I'm going to do 29 divided by 7. 29 is my dividend, 7 is my divisor. I'm going to go ahead and list my multiples of 7 off to the side. Okay, and I'm going to stop right there because I only have 29 markers. 7 cannot go into 2, so I'm going to put an X on top. Now I need to look at how many times does 7 go into 29. And if I look at my multiples, I have 7, 14, 21, 28. 7 goes into 29 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and 7 times 4 is 28. I've divided, I've multiplied, now I need to subtract. 29 minus 28, 9 minus 8 is 1, 2 minus 2 is 0. I'm going to go ahead and check. 1 is less than 7, so we are good to go. Now I have nothing to bring down, do I? Okay, so when I have nothing to bring down, the 1 becomes my remainder. Okay, so now let's look back at the question, because if I say 4 remainder 1, that doesn't make sense to the question that they're asking me. How many markers will she keep? 4 remainder 1? You can't keep a remainder of markers. So what this is saying is Kelly's going to give 4 to each person, and it said if Kelly keeps the leftover markers, how many will she keep? She's going to keep the remainder, so Kelly is going to keep 1 marker. All right, boys and girls, now we've reviewed the things that we can do with the remainder. Now I want you to try number 3 on your own. Pause the video and get to work. Okay, mathematicians, let's look at lesson 4.4. We're going to use basic facts and place value to find the quotient. Let's look at number 1, 120 divided by 4. I want you to find your basic math fact in 120 divided by 4. 12 divided by 4. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Circle the 0 and add it to your quotient. Let's try number 3. 3,000 divided by 5. Okay, one rule that we will say is underline everything but the 0. But can I divide 3 divided by 5? No. Now I need to underline one of the zeros. Does 30 like 5? Yes. 30 divided by 5 is 6. I'm going to underline it because 30 divided by 5 is 6. I underlined it because it all goes together. Then you only circle the zeros that weren't included in your basic math fact. So I add 2 zeros to the 6 and my answer becomes 600. All right, boys and girls, I want you to try number 5 on your own. Pause the video, resume it when you're done. All right, we're on 4.6 and 4.7. This is where we learn the distributive property. Okay, so we're going to look at number 1, 68 divided by 4. The first thing I want you to do is go ahead and list your multiples of 4. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, and 40. We're going to stop at 40. Okay, and then I need to think of 2 numbers that add up to 68. Okay, if I look at my multiples, let's start with 40. Can 40 and another number on this list add up to 68? Yes, 28. 40 plus 28 are 68. And boys and girls, both of these can be divided by 4, our divisor. Okay, now I want you to think, what is 40 divided by 4? Yep, it's 10. And what is 28 divided by 4? That's right, 7. Now all we need to do, we need to take both of these numbers, 10 and 7, and add them together. 10 plus 7 is 17. Boys and girls, 17 is our answer for number 1. Now I want you to go ahead and try number 3, 108 divided by 9 on your own. Pause the video and press play when you're done. All right, we are almost done. Let's look at 4.8 and 4.9. Boys and girls, we did repeated subtraction for these lessons. So let's go ahead and review what repeated subtraction is. Let's look at number 1, 848 divided by 4. Okay, the first thing I want you to do is list your multiples of 4. Go ahead and do that with me. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, and 40. All right, boys and girls, so we have our subtract column and our record column. If Miss Bailey, we start with 848, and our goal is to get it all the way down to 0. If I look at my multiples, I realize that 40 is really far from 848. I want you to think for a second what your teachers have told you when you have a really big number. What should you do to all of your multiples? That's right, we're going to add a 0. So instead of 4 times 1, if I did 4 times 10, that would be 40, 80, 120, 160, 200, 240, 280, 320, 360, 400. So if I multiply 4 times 100, that gives me 400. Let's go ahead right now and subtract a 400 from 848. Draw your arrow. 4 times what gave us 400? 4 times 100 gave us 400. Go ahead and subtract. 8 minus 4 is 4. All right, let's look at 448. Can we do another 400? Yes, because it is still bigger than 400. Go ahead and draw your arrow. Every single time, boys and girls, that we subtract, Miss Bailey should see an arrow. Miss Bailey, Miss Juarez, and Miss Roberts, actually. All right, let's go ahead and subtract 448 minus 400. 8 minus 0 is 8. 4 minus 0 is 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. All right, now we only have 48 left. I want you to think for a second. Do we have a multiple 4 times that equals 48? You're right. 4 times 12 equals 48. 48 minus 48 is 0. Go ahead and add your 12 with the arrow. And while I solved that, I realized that I forgot to put my 100 with my arrow, so I quickly did that as well. All right, the last thing that we need to do is add our recording numbers. 100 plus 100 plus 12 equals 212. All right, I want you to try number 3. 405 divided by 5 on your own. Go ahead. All right, boys and girls, we're going to do lesson 4.10 and 4.11. This was our long division method. Does McDonald's serve cheeseburgers? And that stands for divide, multiply, subtract, check, bring down. Let's look at number 1. 896 divided by 4. Okay, our first thing that we need to do is divide. Does 4 go into 8? Yes, it does. 2 times. Okay, now we need to multiply. 4 times 2 is 8. Subtract. 8 minus 8 is 0. Check. 0 is less than 4. We are good to move on. Now let's go ahead and bring our 9 down. How many times does 4 go into 9? You're right, 2. And 4 times 2 is 8. Now we need to subtract. 9 minus 8 is 1. Check. 1 is less than 4. We're good to go. We need to bring down that 6. And our last one is how many times does 4 go into 16? You're right, 4 times. 4 times 4 is 16. 16, take away 16 is 0. 896 divided by 4 equals 224. All right, now you are going to do number 2 on your own. 833 divided by 5. Pause the video and resume it when you are finished.